Hi, my name is Lettie and I create brushes, workbooks and tutorials for Procreate. If you've been here before, you'll know that I have a sweet spot for cute characters. So how about a cute character animation for today? Peekaboo! The only thing you need to follow along this tutorial is an iOS device and Procreate. But if you support me on Patreon, make sure to download the workbook and color palette so you get my sketches and written instructions. You'll find the link in the description below. I know most of you have tons of brush sets, but today you're only going to use one brush. The fantastic dry ink, which is a default brush, so all of you have it in the inking set. Okay, let's start painting the plant. Go to the leaves layer or create a new layer if you are not using the workbook. Outline the leaves in green. Then pick a slightly darker or lighter green and fill in the leaves. Whoops, sorry, all habits from previous versions of Procreate. Do you see the continue filling blue button at the top? Well, I didn't. Anyway, just tap on it so you don't need to continuously drag in the color. Do as I say, not as I do, okay? You already know all about the color drop threshold, don't you? If you need to brush it up, take a look at my YouTube video, 7 life-saving Procreate tips that any digital artist should know. Okay, let's alpha lock this layer, go back to the previous color, increase the brush size, and just go over the leaves. What a nice texture, right? Monstera leaves have holes, so we need a layer mask and eraser. Let's draw some holes. Don't worry if they don't look perfect. Since we are using a layer mask, you can modify or get rid of them anytime. Now create a clipping mask for the shadows. Let's change the blend mode to linear burn or multiply as you prefer. We don't need to change the color. It will look much darker thanks to the blending mode. If it is too dark for you, you can decrease the brush opacity, okay? I think it is still too dark, so let's decrease the opacity of the layer by about 50%. Create another clipping mask and set it this time to screen, so the same green color will look lighter. Decrease the brush size and draw the veins. We can also add more contrast and texture this way. Just tilt the pencil to enhance the lit areas. Leaves done! That was easy, but the stems are even easier. Just a few curved lines will do. For painting the pot, we just need to follow the same steps. First, pick the color. Second, outline. Third, pick a slightly different color and fill in the pot. Fourth, alpha lock the layer and paint over with the previous color. If you want to paint the exact same pot, move the instructions layer just above the pot layer. Now you can see my sketch. Where was I? Yeah, fifth step, shadows. Create a clipping mask. Linear barn blend mode. And draw the areas in shadow. Decrease the opacity of the layer if the shadow is too intense for you. And last step, create another clipping mask. Screen blend mode and paint the top of the pot. The pot is done, but what if we paint a little soil out of it? As if the cat we are going to paint later had dug it out. Do you have cats? If so, do they ruin your potted plants? Please share your knowledge with the rest of us in the comments. Well, this casts a shadow on the pot, so let's paint it. Let's change the color, the layer, and paint the shadow the same way we painted the soil, making circles. Now we are going to paint the shadow cast by the entire plant. So change the layer and the color, which is going to be light gray, and just paint kind of an oval. Let's decrease the opacity because I think this looks too dark. Much better. The plant is finished, so let's merge the layers by pinching them together. Change its name if you want to keep your layers panel organized. And, well, the pot is also done, so same process. Let's also place all the elements just above the sketch or the instructions if you are using the workbook. Now we are going to divide this illustration into the foreground elements, which are most of the pot, the soil, and the cast shadow, and the background elements, which are the plant, the inner pot, and half of the edge. So, duplicate the pot layer and tap on Invert. We need to get rid of the inner part of the pot and half of the edge. We can use the eraser for this task. Or even better, we can use the selection tool in freehand mode. Invert the colors of the layer again and let's rearrange some layers. The original pot and the plant are background elements, so we will keep them in here. The incomplete pot, the soil and the shadow are foreground elements, so select them and move them into the foreground group. We have painted the static elements of our animation, the background and the foreground. So it's time to draw the elements in motion. Let's start with the first frame, which in this case is very simple. Go to the body layer. Pick a color, preferably a dark color, so the viewers don't know if it is the soil moving or something else. And just paint a shape like this. Don't worry if you paint outside the lines, the foreground elements will cover that. Go to frame 2 and do the same, but with a different shape. Go to frame 3 and repeat. And repeat on the next frame. And on the next. You can add more of these frames if you want to keep people wondering what's going on longer. But I think just a few frames are enough. So here we are going to draw the body, and the head of our cute character is going to start poking out. First, we are going to paint the head. A cat's head? Well, this is totally up to you. You decide which animal is messing up your houseplant. Okay, I'm going to paint this cat. This is very easy. Just paint an oval and two triangles with rounded corners in the same color. If the texture has too many gaps, just go over the same area again, or paint this base color with the same technique we use for the leaves. Create a clipping mask to make sure nothing we paint comes out of this gray shape. I am going to use light pink for the ears. Cheeks, and nose. I tend to use a lot of layers, but feel free to paint everything on a single layer if you have a very clear image of what you want. I just feel more relaxed when everything is on a different layer, so I can change anything anytime. But there is more than one way to skin a cat. New layer to draw a small part of a leaf, a sock, or any other object that your cat usually carries on its mouth. And more layers for adding extra textures, shadows, etc. Create just one more layer for the markings and whiskers. What a cute cat we have painted! Now go to the body layer and paint the body. Turn off the visibility of the head so we can paint the body easily. Okay, we have the body and the head done. If you didn't paint everything on one layer, merge all these layers. And take a look at the next frame. The only difference between these two frames is the position of the head. See? So the only thing we have to do is to duplicate these two layers. Move them into the next group of layers and place the head a bit higher. We will do the same a few more times. Duplicate, duplicate, select, drag and release here. Select the head layer and move the head a little bit up. Duplicate, duplicate, select, drag and release, head layer, and there. And again. Now the head is completely out of the pot. What will happen now? Let's find out in the next frame. It will blink, so we need to duplicate the layers again. Move them to this frame and redraw its eyes. So, duplicate, duplicate, select, drag and release. And now go to the head layer. Pick gray and just paint over the eyes. We could have left out the eye layer when we merged the head elements, but since this design is super simple, it doesn't matter. Okay, pick black, a smaller brush, and draw the eyes closed. Next frame. In this frame, the head is in the same position, but the eyes are open again. So it looks exactly like the 10th frame. You know what we have to do then. Duplicate, duplicate, select, drag, and release. As you see, the head is in place. Therefore, we don't need to do anything else here. Next frame. The cat is hiding again. This frame is the same as the 9th one. So, duplicate, duplicate, select, drag, and release. Perfect. The same happens with the 14th and the 8th frames, so you already know what you have to do, right? The same goes for frame 15 and 7, but we can also just duplicate the layers from the previous frame and move the head down a bit. And repeat once more. Duplicate, duplicate, select, drag and release. Select the head, and down it goes. Great job! You've completed all the frames. Let's check out your animation. Go to Action, Canvas, and then switch Animation Assist. All your frames' thumbnails will appear at the bottom. Tap on the rightmost frame and then set it as your foreground. Tap on the leftmost frame and then on the background toggle. Finally, tap play to check out your Peekaboo animation. If the animation goes too fast or too slow, pause it, tap on settings, and adjust the frames per second. Now it definitely goes too fast. In this case, 5 frames per second looks good to me. If you are using the workbook, once you are happy with your animation, you need to go to Actions, Canvas, Crop and Resize. Now tap on Settings and make your canvas square by changing the width to 2048. Now it will be a square as soon as we tap Done. Here you go. To get rid of the sketches, go to your Layers panel and select and delete all the instructions layers. Bye-bye instructions! Let's export your animation. Go to Actions, Share, and choose any of the animated formats. For example, we can create an animated GIF. Procreate also gives us the Web Ready option, so the animation file is smaller and loads faster on our website. If what you want is to post it on Instagram, you want to choose Animated MP4. By the way, please tag me if you post it there. I would love to see your cute animations. A huge thank you to all my patrons for your continued support and, well, I see you in the next video. Bye!